Hello, 317ers. We kind of left off without finishing the notes, so I'm just going to give you guys a quick just preview of the rest of these notes, and we'll talk about it tomorrow in class. So the first part I'm leaving off at is after those first two examples we did. This says, when solving an equation of degree 3 or higher. So I'm going to give you guys a polynomial. I am not going to give you a solution, and you're going to have to be able to solve it. And we're going to use the theorem that we just learned with the P's and the Q's in order to do that. So there's 4 steps. So the first step is to list all of the possible rational roots, which is the theorem. The theorem says we just take our plus or minus P over Q formula, and we can list all of the possible rational roots. The second step is to test the roots. To do that, we're just going to plug the roots in. So we're going to take the possible roots that we got from our first step, and we're going to plug them in, and we want to see which one's going to give me 0. That's one of your roots. I would use a calculator for this step and just kind of plug and chug until you get 0. Step 3 is to do synthetic division until you get down to a quadratic. So you can actually do synthetic division multiple times until you get a quadratic, which means the highest degree is an x squared. Okay, last step, solve the remaining quadratic, which just means factor, set each piece equal to 0. You're good to go. Let's do 2 examples and I'll leave you alone. Okay, our first example is f of x equals x cubed minus 8x squared minus 23x plus 30. And we have to start with our first step, which is to list all of the possible rational roots. That's our p's and our q's, guys. Let's go. So the q is 1, which means every single one of my factors of p will be over 1. Guys, anything divided by 1 is just a whole number, so for this it's kind of nice. You won't have any fractions. So I would just make sure that you list all of the factors of 30. So let's see, factors of 30. 1 and 30. 2 goes into 30. 3 goes into 30. Does 4? No. Does 5? Yes. Does 6? Yes. 7 does not. 8 does not. 9 does not, but 10 does. And 15, and then 30. Now all of these are going to go over 1 because the only factor of 1 is 1. Well, that means that these are all going to be whole numbers, so I'm not even going to write the over 1. It's not necessary, but it is all positive negatives. Okay, so really I need to do plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, plus or minus 5. So that just means that I could have an answer of negative 10 instead of just positive 10. So here are all of the possibilities of solutions. There's a lot of possibilities. So how do I figure out which ones are? That's the calculator part. So you just got to plug in. So what I mean by that is you're going to take a guess, okay? I'm just going to guess 1 off the top of my head. And I'm going to plug in. Again, this is something that you don't have to write down. You could just do this in your calculator. So I'm just going to guess, what if one of my zeros is 1? I'm just guessing. We get 1 cubed minus 8 times 1 squared minus 23 times 1 plus 30. So that's 1 minus 8 minus 23 plus 30. 1 minus 8 is negative 7 minus 23 plus 30. I get negative 30 plus 30. Oh, what do you know? Lucky guess. Okay? I got 0, which means that 1 is a solution. Okay. So once you figure out the solutions, again, guys, that might take like 5 different tries of just plugging in. This is why you use your calculator. You're not going to write that out every time. You're just going to plug and chug in your calculator. I figured out that 1 is definitely a solution. Once you find a solution, or you get 0, okay, you make your window, like I was just starting to do, and you take that number, and you do your synthetic division. So my coefficients are 1, negative 8, negative 23, and 30. Draw your line, and you want to synthetically divide. So drop down the 1, we got 1 times 1 is 1. Add, we get negative 7. Add, we get negative 30. Multiply, and sure enough we get 0 for the remainder, which we already knew would happen because we already knew 1 was a solution. So now we got to go backwards, constant x squared. Let's write out our remaining quadratic is x squared minus 7x minus 30. So now, last step is just to solve the remaining quadratic. And we are going to do that by factoring. So however you guys like to factor, you do you. Okay, 30, we got 10 times 3 is 30. Negative 10 plus 3 is negative 7. So let's solve this. To solve, we just set each factor equal to 0. So I get x equals 10. X plus 3 equals 0. X equals negative 3. So now, I'm so close. My final answer, all of my solutions, we have 10, we have negative 3, and don't forget the original solution that you guys found in the very beginning, which is 1. So my answers are 10, negative 3, and 1. I'm going to put a little star by that one because we don't want you to forget it. And I'm done. I'm only doing one example because I'm over my time limit by 1:44. Sorry about it. Sorry, not sorry. Bye.